Morning, Steve. Now, don't know who got in the workshop. It's been pretty damn busy the last few weeks. As you well know, I have been on annual leave for the last month, which has been absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, employer. Very much appreciated. Although it wasn't for the original planned trip. But that's a whole different story. Don't ask any questions. Be told no lies. Right, let's get the old laptop fired up. There we go. Simon Roll, morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Simon. Welcome back to the workshop, matey. Again, I've got a bit of an elongated picture, which is a bit weird. There's all sorts of stuff going on with YouTube at the moment. Very strange. Makes me look a bit slimmer, which is very hard to do, to be fair. Anyway. So we're going to go on a little excursion today on the live stream. We're going to head out and have a look at the deck. The deck is proving to be quite a mission. I've managed to get to the point now where all the framework's done, all the concreting's done. The only thing left to do is to put the top on, which you think, well, that's going to be pretty simple, Andy. But I decided, it's not, it's a nice deck area. We've spent a lot of money doing it. I want to make it look as nice as possible. So, hey, you start going, oh, I'll do this as well, and I'll do that as well. And all of a sudden, the job becomes monstrous. Very simple process of putting a border piece of decking timber around the perimeter of the deck to follow the lines, and then deck parallel planks internal to that is quite a mission, to be honest, putting that board around and get it looking nice and everything. But anyway, you'll see what I've done so far. That was yesterday's job. Today I will hopefully get the rest of the border done. And then Monday and Tuesday, I'm just going to be smashing out, putting the planks in, the decking planks into place, which once the border's done, shouldn't be too bad, but we're going to run out of wood. I know we are. Who else have we got? Purple Monkey, 1974. Good day. Good day, Purple Monkey. Welcome back to the workshop. The Giant, evening, Andy. How are you doing? I'm absolutely knackered, to be honest. You probably be able to tell that in my voice. I started this project about 3.5 weeks ago. We started. It was on a Wednesday, day one. It seems so long ago. And we've had 1 day a week off, which hasn't always been a full day off. Sometimes we've been off to, we've driven somewhere to get materials for the concreting and so on. We've also taken a couple of days off because of horrendous weather. Just monstrous downpours. So it wasn't a day off as a day off. It was a day off from doing the deck. So we spent a couple of days processing some scrap metal that we had down the garden. We had to sort it all out to, clean alley. And then you've got mixed, which is aluminium and steel. And then you've got the steel, the just whatever steel, And if you can clean up the mix, so the aluminium steel mix, like engine casings and stuff, motorcycle engine casings, if you can clean those up and make them pure rally, you get 8 times the value in weight, which is substantial. So me and Mrs. Mechanic converted the side port area to a scrapyard. And we had some of those IBC bins, sorted those out, and then, labeled them up, what's going to go in what. Did about a day and a half of just loading up those bins, and then spent half a day, the last half day, cleaning up the mix alley steel into aluminium or steel. And we did pretty well, actually. In fact, Mrs. Mechanic did pretty well. We took In the end, we had just shy of 1.1 tons. That's just shy of 1,100 kilograms in my money. And she got a fair chunk. I won't say what she got. She got a fair chunk from it. She was blown away how well she did. And I was very happy for her. But it was a very productive 2 days, but we didn't get a break, and it involved going to Taupo, which is half a day, to be fair. By the time you get there and unload and get back, it's half a day. Do a bit of shopping while you're there. No, I don't want to do any updates. So that's what we've been doing. So realistically, we've had 3 weeks. So when I take you outside to show you the deck and the progress that we've made, and I would say realistically, I would need another week to get everything done that I want to get done, but I haven't got another week. I've got today, so it may well be a short live stream. I've got today, I've got Monday, and I've got Tuesday, and that is it. I've even put a hold on finishing the last bit of editing that video of the lake hop that I've been doing for you. I've got one more car to research, and then, so probably half a day and that will be finished. But it's more important to get the deck finished or get as much done as I possibly can without rushing it. I don't want to make a bad job of it because you only get one chance to do it right. And I'm also trying to maximize my timber usage as well. So there's a bit of strategy going on in the background. But, it is what it is. I know I'm going to have to buy some more timber. Such is life. I could possibly pick some more up on the way back from the South Island. Maybe. Because I'll have the trailer. That might work. Because I only need a few planks-ish. Maybe 20 lengths, 15 lengths. It'll be more than enough. But anyway, where do we get to? Jim Haynes. Off from racing this week. One to go next week. And then make plans for next year. Very good, Jim. I hope it's been a great season for everybody. And not too many accidents. Would love to come and see that racing one day. Maybe next year. Hopefully next year. We've got some plans, some plan B stuff, because I was supposed to be there this time around, but it didn't happen. Sheldon. Morning, Andy, Mrs. Mechanic, and crew. Good morning, Sheldon. Welcome back to the workshop, matey. I'm sure you'll have had just as busy a week as I've had, to be honest. JJ, morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, JJ. Big thumbs up. Connor K, morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Connor. Hope all is well in your part of the world. Simon, the post your eye still hasn't. No, it hasn't gone away yet, but it's not too gory. All right. It's a lot better. Yeah, that sort of does it justice. It flared up again. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm doing lots of sawdusty stuff and it was getting irritated or whatever. And then it went green again, went yellowy greeny color. So I had another session, extracted all the crap out of it. And all I had left was some Savlon, right? It's just an antiseptic cream. It's all it is, right? Put some of that on every morning for about 5 or 6 days. Put some more on this morning. And it's massively calmed down the bally thing that it is. Is a lot smaller. It's not painful at all. All the pain's gone away. So hopefully we're on the road to recovery. Because, I'd started to get used to the fact that me and the blob were going to live together forever. But thanks, Simon. Yeah, it's a lot better. It's a lot better. And I don't mind you asking about it because it's so bloody obvious, isn't it? It's one of those things. It's life. Shit happens. And I mean, I'm still certain, 99% certain that when I was cutting off some old nails, some timber to take down to the scrap, down to the recycling area, because there's no point in burning it. You can take timber for free, so you just chuck it and somebody else can burn it. When I was cutting the last nail, and I had my safety glasses on, a little bit, it was some kind of spark or a bit of grinding, whatever it is, I felt it go into my eye, or hit my eye, but it didn't feel like it hit my eyeball. I think it hit the actual eyelid underneath, and I think that could well be the start of what happened. Obviously, I don't know, but it just seemed very coincidental because it was watering a while for about maybe a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks. It was really watery and wasn't happy, and then all of a sudden it started to get red, and you know the rest of the story. So it could well have been it. Richard Perry, morning, Andy and crew. Hope everybody is well. GB flag, which is on that side. Good job, mate. We like those flags, don't we? And a thumbs up. There you go, Richard. So yeah, when it started to flare up for the second time, I was like, oh man, what's going on? But I think that was the last of the crap coming out, to be honest. Simon, it's a bit of swarf trying to escape after 20 years. It may well be. My eyesight's not the greatest in the world, and it's sometimes I find it hard on the video when I'm making the videos. I've started now. I look at the camera to what the camera's seeing, and work from the camera view as opposed to direct view. That actually works better on camera anyway, just as a hint. But obviously everything's enlarged. It's easy to see. Just to give you some background, when I was 14, 15, my dad went to hospital with, I think it was an ear infection, right? I mean, this is going back a long time, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was an ear infection. And he came back with conjunctivitis. And we all shared the same bathroom in the house, and we all shared the same flannels and bits and pieces. We were just kids, right? And I got conjunctivitis in both eyes. I think Mum got it in one eye. I'm not sure if Ollie got it. Phil might have got it in one eye. I can't really remember the details, but I got it in both eyes. And it's nasty shit. It really is. It's conjunctivitis. And what it does, if you don't know, it basically makes little tiny blobs of fluid on the eye lens, which then burst. You don't realize it. It's not really very visible. But what it does is it causes scarring on the lens surface. So the light, and bright days are the worst. The light going in through your iris, is it? Through the lens, is refracted, right, due to the scarring. So you get a slightly sort of blurry image. And it's weird, if I wash my face with hot water, my eyesight afterwards is significantly worse. Work that one out, right? It must be due to thermal expansion of something. I don't know what it is, but anyway. But it's not bad. I mean, I still passed the eye test, right? It's not an issue with that. But I used to have really good eyesight. When I was a kid, man, my eyesight was awesome. I could look at little tiny jets and I could hold them up to the light and I could see the hole through and stuff. Whereas now I get the main hole and then maybe 2 or 3 little, shadowy holes around it. The problem is wearing glasses to help improve my eyesight doesn't really help because you still have that refraction problem. Contact lenses, I'm told, will help. Not a fan of contact lenses, and they don't lend themselves well at all in a workshop environment, as we all know. So I've just lived with it. There's a couple of laser treatment doesn't work because they cut a flap off your eye lens, fold it back, do the laser treatment, and then flip it back over, and then it heals up, and away you go. But the damage is on that flap on the top layer of skin, so that's not going to work. Acid treatment, you can do an acid treatment on your eye, where they clamp a little tubey thing onto your eye, they stabilize your eyeball, which is little prongs and shit, and pour a little bit of acid in and count to 10 and then suck it back out again. And that just takes away that top layer of skin. That probably would work. Don't want to put any acid in my eye. They've had enough acid in my eyes over the years anyway. Not really a fan of that, to be fair. And the last resort is cornea transplant, which expensive and it's just not going to happen. So we'll mosey on. But no, I'm very pleased. I won't touch it because I've been in the workshop, but very pleased it's getting better. So thank you for asking. Appreciate it. Where do we get to? Simon. I've got to get an LED torch. I've got to get an LED torch for jets just to see through them. It helps. It definitely helps. Like I say, I used to be able to hold them up to the sky, to the sunlight, or to a light in the workshop, and look through the jet, and you could tell straight away if it was clean or not. It's just, I think it's partly age as well. I think my short-sighted vision. So when I'm looking at something close up, that's at the moment the worst. It never used to be bad. It used to be really good. So I think that's the old age thing coming through that's affecting that. But I can read the comments on my laptop just fine now. I mean, there was a few weeks ago when it was watery, I was struggling to read the comments on a laptop, and you may have noticed when I was reading them out, I was making mistakes, and that's annoying. But hey, we're all getting older, and it is what it is the phrase, isn't it? Okay, so we have a pie. I'm going to keep cracking on because Andy's got a shitload of work to do. And I'm also really tired, so it takes longer to do stuff now, and I make mistakes. So I was down at Wild Bean Cafe, and they stopped doing the lamb pie. Remember we did that twice for some bizarre reason. I'd forgotten I'd done it. But this is their new short-term special pie, I think they call it. I'll show you what it is, and then I took a picture of it in the cabinet so we can have a look at it in the cabinet. Probably exactly the same pie, to be fair. Anyway, there you go. So it is a classic brekkie pie, they call it. So it's only classic. It's a standard issue. It's not the gourmet. Baked beans, bacon, and cheese. Okay, so pretty structural integral. It came home, I don't know, 10 days ago, whenever we took some scrap, I can't remember now, and Mrs. Mechanic put it in the freezer. So it's been in the fridge last night. It's all thawed out. Hopefully we're good to go. So if I turn you round, 3, 2, 1, boom. There you go. And you can have a look on the screen at the photo that I took. So that's the pie in the pie cabinet before I extracted it for today's live stream. So $5.80. So these classic pies are getting up around the $6 mark now, which is, pies are expensive in New Zealand. They really are. The gourmet pies are about $7.40, $7.50. So pretty expensive for a pie for what they are, to be fair. I don't know how long they're going to run it for. I've never had one before, so we're going to find out. Okay, terrible camera work, Andy. There we go. All right, boom, boom, boom. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. It's not locked. Stupid phone. Okay, back onto the live stream. Boom. Simon, hey. We don't get steak and cheese pies in the UK. I made one last week with beef dripping pastry. That would be nice. We are missing out in the UK without steak and cheese. Well, you should pop down to Thomas the Baker's and tell them your idea, because who knows, Simon, they might take you up on it. Steak and cheese pies are actually really nice. When I was in England, I never used to eat any pies. They just didn't interest me, other than the odd one as a main evening meal. I would never think of they just weren't available, were they? So I was a sausage roll man. We used to buy sausage rolls, Thomas the Baker's, as you know, and they were awesome. And I do still miss them, and I very much like them. But in New Zealand, this is sort of the equivalent. This is everybody's daily sausage roll kind of equivalent. Curly Knox, hey, quarter to the live. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Curly Knox. Welcome back to the workshop, mate. We're just about to pop the pie in the pie warmer. So, and we'll have a wander out onto the deck, as I promised. So we'll stick in the pie warmer, then we'll have a wander out. Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go. Okay. Now, you might notice over there, behind the poorly pillar drill, the big pipe bender's gone. Ben's down and he's making some sidebars for his patrol. So he's been using that pipe bender, and it's bent the pipe really well, actually. Really well. Okay, in the hot box it goes. Obligatory 23 minutes, because we know it works perfectly. And no, it hasn't been cleaned. And I've got a little story about Mr. Ratty to tell you shortly, but we'll go out first. Now, how should we do this? Should we go out the side door? Because the internet's up there, look. I don't know, maybe we'll go out this way. We'll go out through the big door. I'll treat you to a big door exit. Bear with me. Got to be very careful with the camera because there are many, many motorcycles out here that you're not able to see at the moment. So that's the side port in action. Bloody good space, really good space. It's been instrumental to building this deck, to be honest. So, I'll give you a quick scan round. Hopefully the internet's going to stay good for you. Tell me on the comments if it all starts to break up. Not that I can see the comments. Got this bit done yesterday. So around said porch is now done. And I did round the side there, look, on both sides. So a little tricky, you know, all the little woody bits that you've got to, the sticky out bits that you've got to cut round and things. It just took a bit of time. That back panel there, look, it runs along there. I think I'm going to make a new one of those because I made a mistake and I took too much off, and then that whole panel now, that whole plank is a bit too far back. So make one, I can close up that gap. But that's not going to happen today. That's not important. It can stay as it is. So as you can see, it is quite large. We've got a lot of work still to do. Like I said, all the posts are in, they're all concreted in. I think there's about 30 posts, give or take one or two, already in. They go into the ground about 1/2 meter each. And the ground is soily on top, and then you straight down to like a gritty, gravelly, sandy stuff. So it's very well drained as well. Obviously, all this stuff here is all temporary, right? You can tell Ben's here because there's his boots. So we'll wander over from this side. Trying to keep the bikes out of the shot best I can. Boom, boom, boom. So I had to go around. This took a bit of time. Because we're doing that border, right? The border bit, the frame. I had to go around and put a secondary support piece in all the way around for the planks to come across and sit on, right? To provide those supports. So that took a bit of time, and that wasn't planned at all. Originally, we we're going to just run the deck timber across to the end and then cut it off, right? That's the cheap way of doing it. But with a nice border, you don't have any splinters. It just looks a bit more professional. Don't want to get too far away from the internet. But there you go, look. It's coming on slowly. Once we get to putting the main planks in, it'll be quick, but just getting all the border and stuff does taking ages. It took me 2 days to put these bits in, you know. I mean, there's so many angles and stuff. And it's got to be right. There's no point in rushing it. You know, even little bits like that, look, takes a while to do. But it'll be an amazing space when it's finished. And we've got, I think, 4 additional support beams now. So I don't think it's going to fall down. That diagonal there, that diagonal bracing will go once I put the little, don't go out of focus, put the little braces up there. It's going to have some 45s in there of 100 by 100. But again, I'll do that once the deck's down. Then I can put the steps up, you see, and I can reach easier. Oh, gotta go this way. Jeez. Yeah. Am I going to have enough timber? I don't think I am. Oh, and those are the pods that we use for the scrap, look. Pretty cool. Managed to get the fun bus up there, look, as well. And the adventure trailer sat there waiting for the next adventure. Right. back into the workshop, back into safety zone, because this area is cleared of all those things that you're not allowed to see, because I get into trouble. We don't want that. Where are we going? Okay, so quick update. I know you're going to ask. Engine stand, no, still there, not going anywhere. You know, I can't do anything with that at the moment. I'm far too busy with the deck. But Ben's engine project has been put on hold. He wants to get another engine, I think, by the sounds of it. Don't know. He hasn't quite come up with... He's just put things on pause for a minute. These are the screws, by the way, that we're using for the deck. Batten screws, 14 gauge by 75, bugle head, and 1,500 of those turned up from Jared at Forge a few days ago. So we've got those. They're well in use. All the 150mm ones, we've used all of those completely. They've all gone now. And all of the hundreds that we had have all been used. So we've used a lot of fasteners on this job. A hell of a lot. And my workshop's a tip. It really, really, really is. Sorry, go-karts. Right, time for another cigarette. I need to wake up. Boom, there we go, look. Okay, I'm back. Sort the camera out, Andy. There we go. Took it as far as the spirit levels, or level of spirits. Oh, I was watching a Vice Grip Garage episode the other day, in one of my many breaks. Very cool. I'll be watching some more of those for sure. Enjoyed that. So, out of interest, when I went outside to show you the deck, did the image quality degrade? It doesn't look too bad from this end at the moment, but obviously I couldn't see it when I was outside. So, did it have any effect on the live stream? Good to know, because you know, side port could be a project in there, you know, in the future, and we'll go out there and we'll do a live stream from under the side port one day. Nice. Bum bum bum. Where do we get to? Curly Docks. Can't hang out for too long, but today's task is finishing the cool room for hanging beasts. Beasts for the freezer, right? Wade Mayer. Morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Wade. Welcome back to the workshop, matey. Curly Knox, video audio is good. Excellent. That's really good news. At this very point in time, I found an old hard drive. In actual fact, Simon, you'll be able to watch this. It's anybody in the UK. And I think you can watch it in other areas of the world as well. There is a TV series called Bangers and Cash. And it's filmed at the Mathewson's vintage car garage and now auction place, where they sell off a lot of old vintage cars on auctions. Run an auction every month. And Paul, the youngest son, good lad, known him ever since he was like 14, 15. He, on a future episode, they've got a Unimog coming in, and Paul used to help us in the early years of the off-road site that we had in the UK. And of course, he got chance to drive our Unimog when he was quite young around the forest and do stuff for us, which was nice. So during his appraisal of this other Unimog that's going through the auction, and he takes it for a drive through the village, he reminisces about his time when he was younger in our Unimog. And the production company contacted me the other day asking for some photos of initially Paul with our Unimog, but we couldn't find any. We found pictures of Paul and pictures of our, obviously lots of pictures of our Unimog, but not both in the same picture. But they were quite happy with that. So we sent that through. I also found, unbelievably, a video on YouTube that somebody had uploaded of me doing a recovery on a Land Rover on Black 76. Those that have been there will know. With the Unimog, you know, winching him out, a big steep hill, lots of recovery stuff going on. That was an awesome video to find. You know, we didn't really do any videos of our Unimog in action, to be fair. It just did the job. It was one of those sort of very quiet, behind the scenes kind of trucks that just, it did everything we asked it to, but it didn't really get much praise or publicized for whatever reason. Don't know why. It just seemed to slip through the net. So anyway, I've sent all that through, and if you do watch Bangers and Cash on a future episode in the next series, there will be a piece on a Unimog, and there'll be some photos of my old Unimog on there, and maybe a snippet from that video on YouTube if they can track down the owner of it to get permission. I don't know. Who knows? But that took me half a day to find that stuff for him, you see, so it just chips away at your time. Oh, we got out. No, we're still going. Okay. Simon. Not long to Stranger Things 5. I know. The image was the same. Thanks. That's brilliant, Simon. Cheers for that. So that's good news. We know we can go outside. But at this point in time, God, where did I go with that? At this point in time, I am uploading off the old hard drive that I found to find the pictures of the Unimog. I found a load of old stuff, and it's an old drive, so I'm busy uploading all that to my Google folder, and it's now on about day 4. There's probably about 400 gigs of information, photos and stuff, so I'm just trying to capture it all before the drive dies. Hence, you know, I was a bit concerned about the internet, you know, have we got enough bandwidth? Checked it yesterday, and unbelievable, 500 and something both upload and download. So things are going really well. Very happy with that. And it seems to be coping pretty well with it. We were watching TV last night. No Wheel of Deaths just worked, so it's all good. Sheldon, image quality good outside. Brilliant. That is such good news, because there's no way we could have done that with the old setup. It would have just dropped out. Connor K, image was good, no change. Perfect. Simon, I'll look out for it. Cheers, Simon. Yes, that'd be great. I'm looking forward to seeing it. If you get if you have the ability, Simon, to record that segment of the Bangers and Cash where the Unimog's in there and our photos, it would be great. I might miss it at this end, so I don't know. The lady said that she was going to, Rachel I think was going to send me a link once it's been edited up, just to have a watch. So if I get the link, then I'll be good, because I can download videos from YouTube. That's not a problem. I've got some software to do that, which is quite cool. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, so you've seen the deck. You know I've got my work cut out. It's not a 5-minute job. It's about 3 times the size to what Mrs. Mechanic really wanted. I did joke last night that, hey, I finished the domestic deck. That's the bit in the porch. And I'll start the commercial side of the deck where we can park vehicles tomorrow. And she's just glared at me. No, there's no vehicles allowed on that deck. Not a chance. Simon, I drill a lot of broken studs and bolts out for local workshops. This one, I think I outdid myself. Snap the major injector bolt using a 20mm long drill bits. I'll send you a photo. Holy crap. Oh, it's just popped in now, Simon. I just felt it come through, because we're still on silent from nighttime stuff. 9:05. Here we go. Ooh. Maybe you can make that out or not. Look at that. Trying to keep the glare down. That is incredibly central, Simon. Well done, matey. That is really, really good. Jeez. You'd have been a bit concerned doing that. Mr. Concentration Face would have come on there. Good job, matey. Good job. Oh. So, I've got 3 days. Then I'm back at work. Now, when I finished work to start my month's holiday, I was towards the end of a PDI audit that I have to do every year on the whole network, all the motorcycle shops that I'm responsible for the service side. And I didn't get it finished. I didn't. It was a massive chunk of work. I spent about 2 weeks on it, didn't get it finished. And my plan, obviously, is I've got to keep the momentum going, because if it takes too big a window, the information that I've gathered at the start isn't anywhere near as relevant at the end. And I have to keep going back in and rechecking stuff to see what's changed. So it takes even longer. So I plan to start that, get back onto that on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Hopefully have it all finished for Friday, end of business Friday. I think that's going to change. I've got over 300 emails come through, and there's 60 odd text messages to reply to, and so many missed calls. But I won't be replying to any of the missed calls, because it tells them in the message if it's important. If you're trying to get hold of me, send me an email. So they should be, all that correspondence should be embedded in emails. It will take me probably 3 days to get through that backlog of emails. And then I've got 1 more week, 5 days left before I depart for the South Island. So I don't know if I'm even going to get the audit finished before I leave for the South Island. I just don't know. We'll have to see. And there is a possibility that I might have to fly down to the South Island for a day. And I say a day, it actually takes 2 days, because I've got to drive to Auckland to fly down, to do my thing, to fly back, to get home. Bit of a mission. If that happens, then there's no way I'll get everything done. And of course, there'll be other stuff, all stacked up, and every person that wants me to do something will expect me to want to get it done and give it priority. But you just can't do that. I've got to prioritize what there is and work my way through it and try and get caught up. But it's just going to be an absolute manic 10 days. And I'm not looking forward to it at all. And that's the problem when there's nobody else to take on and to share the load. I'm all on my own. So, sure, there's the odd little thing that the rest of the team has been able to do for me. But I imagine that 90% of it is still sat there waiting for me to deal with. It's just the way it is. Sheldon. 4 weeks of emails and warranty claims to look forward to, rather you than me. It's a daunting thought, to be honest, Sheldon. It really is. Curly Knox, assistant required. I've been asking for an assistant for the last 8 years, and it's never come to fruition. Jim Haynes. So I take it from earlier, you are not coming up to the North America this year. Jim, unfortunately, and I have to be very careful, no, this month off was originally taken, as you well know, for me to go over to Canada and then to do a bit of a road trip, to come and see you guys, and Jim Kay as well. I was going to pop in and see Eric O. All of that changed rather quickly. I was not really expecting it to happen. It was quite a shock, and I quickly put together a plan B, and that's doing the deck. Something that Mrs. Mechanic's been waiting for 4 years so far, and it's really helped to take my mind off all the issues associated with the planned trip that we had. However, we do intend to go next year. I don't know when next year. I'm going to have to save up some holiday time again, so it won't be until at least June. So I'll keep you, obviously I'll keep you all informed. So realistically, there'll probably be about a 6-month delay, but I am definitely coming out there. I was so much looking forward to it. I really was. So Jim, if I've disrupted any plans that you had, my sincere apologies. It was completely outside my control. It's just, I had to just accept it. You know, it's one of those things. And I can't do it this year. I just can't. I haven't got enough time to do it now. Or leave. I'd have to take unpaid leave, and I just can't afford that at the moment. Especially when I've got to pay for a trip like that as well. But next year, there's no reason why not. We've run out of things to build. Once the deck's done, the last thing to build, well, okay, there's a few things to build, but the big shed down the bottom of the garden, that's going to be a big chunk of change. That's going to be not for another 2 or 3 years, I think. I want to get the mortgage paid for first. I think I've got about 18 months, 2 years left. Something like that. So that'd be very nice to get that sorted out. Very, very nice, in fact. So next weekend, I'll be back on the deck, no doubt. I want to get as much of that deck done before I actually leave. So I've got 2 more weekends before I leave for the South Island. So that'll give me another 4 days. So that should allow me to essentially finish the deck, at least run out of timber, and then I'll be able to know exactly how much more timber I need, plus a few spare planks, you know. So that'll be good, and then I can just get it finished when I get back. I might have a weekend in the workshop because the stuff's stacking up. We've got the lathe to pick up. That was supposed to be before I go to the South Island. I don't think the lad is ready. The reason for the delay is at the school, the college. There's also a woodworking department as well as a metalwork department. The metalwork department's closed down, and that's why I've been able to buy the lathe. And a bandsaw, by the way, that also does vertical bandsaw stuff, which is pretty cool. But the only access is via a roller door, which opens out onto a carport, big sort of covered area. And then under that covered area, the woodworking team are doing lots of wood carvings, big, long, you know, hardwood posts that they're all carving out with all Mari's stuff. And there's no access until they've finished doing their carvings. And that's been delayed. So I just have to sit on the sideline and wait. Is it going to happen before I go to the South Island? It probably isn't. And I imagine what's going to happen is the guy's going to say, right, we've finished the carvings, you've got to come now. You know, jump. And I'll be like, well, I'm in the South Island. So I've given him all the dates, you know, make him fully aware of what's going on. There's nobody I can ask to go and pick up the lathe for me. I need to be there when it's picked up, just to make sure that everything goes to plan and it goes on the trailer properly and stuff. But I have a sneaky suspicion it's going to turn into a shitstorm. I really do. As regards the date of collection, don't know what's going to happen. But then I can clean out that area of the workshop because it's just a tip at the moment. It really is. Yeah. Anyway. Jim Haynes. No plans here. Just work and run a race series. So you would learn what a racetrack Burns life is like. Huh. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. We'll definitely, hopefully, we'll time the trip to coincide with an event, a race, so we can join you for the day and see what you have to do, and hope maybe even do a bit of filming. Who knows? It'd be great. Very interested in that kind of stuff. Sheldon, you need a gold claim in your area. Gold's going mental at over $7,000 an ounce now. Holy shit, that's ridiculous. Could I change career and just go panning for gold for the rest of my life? I don't know. It sounds like hard work. It does. I do watch those what's his name, young lad, that does it on usually on Discovery Channel. There's a few different series now of the gold digging people. Always very interesting what they find, to be fair. And there's also one in Australia as well where they go looking for gold just on the surface. And the opal hunters as well, looking for the opal. Never thought that'd be worth any money. But yeah, worth fortune. Curly Knox, yep, gold at all-time ATH all-time high. $7,000 an ounce. That's mental. Okay, so we have a pie. I've just heard it go ping. So let's go and get the pie. Turn around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, here we go. Dum 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 dum. Oh, Ben found some more 3/4 drive stuff yesterday while I was ferreting in my drawers. I don't know why he's taking it out though. Got nowhere for it to go. Right. Ooh, it looks well done, doesn't it? No thermal expansion cracks, which is good. Underside looks fantastic. Okay, it's very hot. Now, Mrs. Mechanic often listens to my live streams, so Mrs. Mechanic, if you are there, and you probably are, a fresh coffee would be nice, if you wouldn't mind, honey. Okay, right. So, this is, just get my photo back up, this is a classic, Wild Bean Cafe, my go-to haunt, BP petrol stations, Wild Bean Cafe, there you go, look. It's a classic brekkie pie. It's a new one that they've just released, and it's got baked beans. I like baked beans. It's got bacon. Who doesn't like bacon? And it's got cheese. And who doesn't like cheese? You know. So yeah, I think we're going to be doing pretty well with this one. To be fair, I have high hopes. The only concern that I have is it's a classic and not a gourmet, which means that the contents, it's a slightly smaller pie, so I might still be hungry at the end of it, and the contents tend to be a little bit thin on the ground. Tends to be a bit more pastry than anything else. Okay, so we'll just get organised. Got my pen ready. Okay. Right, so taste stroke flavour of the contents. Well, it's going to be hot. I'll try and go in on the least burnt part. It's quite brown down there, so I reckon that's pretty hot there. We should have a thermal imaging camera. That'll be cool. Pastry is pretty dry, in all honesty. Crunchy and a bit dry. I wonder how long it had been in the cabinet for. Can't really give you a score yet for that one because all I've really had so far is two bites of pastry. It feels a very solid pie. Now, I'm pretty sure we're not going to get great big chunks of bacon like we saw in that other pie we had a few weeks ago. That was phenomenal. Really good bacon content. Really good. Oh, get rid of that again. There we go. Parker, that's right. I like to watch that. Jim Haynes. Racetrack bum. Cheers, Jim. Simon. Shut down the workshops. Get some offcuts from the scrap bins of one. Solid carbide won't even touch it. God knows what it was. Oh wow! So you got some offcuts of scrap. Wow, and the carbide tip wouldn't even touch it. God, there's some weird, wonderful metals out there, isn't there? Did you send me another picture? You might have done, don't you? Let's have a look. Oh no, no, we're all good. Now, a story. Ooh, that was hot. There you go. So a very, very strong taste of baked beans. Very, very strong. Might have been a hint of bacon. In fact, there's a little bit of bacon down there. Look, you can see that. So as I said before, we spent a couple of days doing some scrap, and a lot of the scrap is in pallets down the garden. Very useful Trevor the tractor for moving pallets around, by the way. And we had to go through the stuff on these pallets. There was cardboard boxes and metal and other stuff. So we were sorting through what was on these pallets. And the last pallet of the day, we had maybe an hour spare before we wanted to finish for the day. It was probably about 5:30. We usually finish about 7 in the evening. So we pulled this pallet down, had a blue tarp over it, had some pallet wrap around it as well. And it was like third pallet up. There was quite a few down there. A few less now, but there was a lot down there. And Mrs. Mechanic's, cutting off all the pallet wrap and taking the tarp off. And she looks down, and in the middle of between all these boxes, there's this sort of, well, she called it a nest. It was all chewed up bits of plastic and cardboard and stuff, and it looked a bit like a nest. And she's, oh, can you clean this bit off? It looks a bit nesty to me, and there was a very strong smell of urine, basically. And it's like, oh man, that's gonna be rats. The rats have been in. Nice. They've been living in this pallet. Which is better than being living in my workshop, right? Which is great. We haven't had any rat problems for a long time. Ever since we eradicated them last time. So I get a couple of bits of wood and I'm just decanting all this nesty stuff straight into a bin liner, which I'll then seal up and it will go to landfill. And I get, all the nests taken out, and it stinks. Everything really stinks. And on the pallet was a fish box, a plastic box, with some metal parts in it. And there were a couple of cooling fans in there. So I obviously were wearing gloves and stuff, right? So I pull the cooling fans out, and off the cooling fans, there are breather pipes. And they're sort of a pinky colour breather pipe. So I pull the fan off, and the breather pipe sort of whips around across this metal. So I thought, in the box. So I hold the fan up and I'm looking at the breather pipe and I'm looking down there and I'm like, not sure if that actually would have been there when I was, in that area of the pallet when I was lifting it off. So I look back in the blue box. Oh, well, it's still there, right? And it's not a breather pipe, it's a tail. And I'm like, man, that's a rat's tail. They're actually still in the pallet, or it's in the pallet right now. So I get me stick. And of course, because the box is full of bits of metal, I can't get to the guy. He's sort of protected by all these bits of metal, these old crankshafts and stuff. So it's a bit of a standoff. He's not going to come out because he knows he's going to get bopped. I can't get to him where he is because of all the steel. And eventually the standoff finishes and he jumps out. He jumps by 3 foot in the air. Of course, my reactions are terrible. Lands, runs off towards the workshop and runs into the workshop. I'm like, you little bastard. So he disappeared into the workshop. Don't know if he could be here now. I've not heard any rats this morning, so I think he came in and then decided, nah, I'm going to live somewhere else. That was one, right? And then there was another one not long after, came from the blue box as well, his mate, John, let's call him. John jumps out, doesn't jump anywhere near as high, and then runs off under a pile of cardboard that Mrs. Mechanic had been sort of flat packing under the bench. You might have seen it when we were outside. So John's now, you know, on the run. And then Mrs. Mechanic starts to come over a little bit, and she's sort of looking around, going, "Are there any more?" I said, "Oh, I don't think so." And as I said, that another one popped out. And man, and these weren't full-size rats. These were probably teenagers. You know, they're probably 2/3 the size that we would normally get when they're fully grown. And the third one, where did the third one go? Oh no, that's right. He jumped out, and then he did a full 180 and went under the pallet, which was all like leaves and dirt and stuff, and sat under there for a while. So we've got these 3 rats now on the run. Obviously, we're keeping the house doors closed. We don't know where any of them are. Obviously, rats are pretty good at hiding and a bit sneaky. So we might have potentially, I mean, the worst case scenario is one of them gets in the house. Big problem, right? Fingers crossed, they'll just scurry off back down the garden and they'll go and live down there for a bit until we can get them killed. Got to buy a lot of rat bait. Don't like rats being around. Scares Mrs. Mechanic shitless. She doesn't like them either. There was even a bit of a scream, you know, and she ran away when the first one popped out. So, yeah, it's not good, is it? It's not good at all. But anyway, there's the story for you. You just got to try and paint the picture in your own mind of what was going on. It was quite hilarious. There's me trying to beat these rats with a bit of wood, and I'm missing every time. I've been quite successful in the past at killing rats with bits of wood and stuff and shovels, but this time round, luck was on Mr. Ratty's side. He got away, all 3 of them. Okay. So lots and lots of baked beans, because baked beans are cheap, right? Probably cheaper than cheese. So that was a piece of bacon, and it was about 5, maybe 6 mils square. It was tiny. So, taste, stroke, flavor, contents. Realistically, it's a pie with baked beans in. That's pretty much what it is, baked bean pie. I like baked beans. Not a massive fan of baked beans in a pie, but hey, some people might like it. I'm going to give it, I'll give it a 5. Structured fully partners. Well, I think this pie is going to do extremely well. It's very, very solid. It's definitely a one-handed pie. Obviously, as it cools down, it solidifies as well. So I think eating this pie single-handed should not be a problem. I'm just going to give it 10 for that one. Full marks for that. Runnability test, well, almost a futile test, to be honest. I can even, you know, that's 45 degrees there, look. Probably a bit more. And there's just no movement at all. It really is very, very, you can even waggle it around. Nothing's going to fall out. Okay, so 10. Scoring very well, other than the real taste. Meat quality. Very difficult for me to give you a meat quality when there's very, very little meat in this pie. I'm trying to pick out some bacon. It's not the posh bacon. And there's not a lot of it. There really isn't. I have now got some cheese come through. That's significantly improved the taste. That was a bit of bacon. It's all right, but there really isn't very much in there at all. I'm going to give him a 4 for that. When you put bacon on something or in something and promote it, you really want the satisfaction of really tasting the bacon, don't you? Bit of pie management going on there. Lots of cheese oozing out. That was the problem. Okay, Pie to crust ratios. This is the contents versus the amount of pastry. And been a Wild Bean Cafe classic pie, there's a lot of pastry and not a lot of contents. You can see how thick the crust is around the sides. The base is a good 5 mil. Top's a bit hard to tell because it's sort of collapsed in because there's not much filling. It scoops right down. It's quite concave up there. I would say it's probably at least 50% pastry, this pie. Oh, there's your bacon. Look at that. A proper chunk of bacon. Okay, see if we can extract that. Slightly salty. That was better. I'll give it 5. I'm going to give it an extra mark now because of that. That wasn't as bad. So there's a lot of pastry. I'm going to give it a 4. There's a lot of pastry and the pastry is quite dry. Availability logistics, where it's all BP petrol stations, Wild Bean cafes, but not forever, right? This is what they call a special, a short-term pie, and I really can't see them turning this into a proper pie, permanent pie. It's just not good enough. So, what does it get? Can you buy them online? No, you can't. Only petrol stations. And it's for short term. We don't know how long. They've not said. 5, 4, 5, maybe a 5. Has to work against them that it's only a short term pie. Pastry taste rating. Well, I can tell you now, it's dry. It's very thick. You run out of moisture in your mouth when you're eating it. I would give it a 4 for that. It may just be this one pie that's been in the pie warmer for a bit too long in the Wild Bean Cafe, with people that haven't been buying them. There's been very slow turnover of these pies. But we can only mark what's in front of us. Now, next one is still tasty when cold. I'm not a fan of cold baked beans. I don't think it'll taste very nice at all. There's very little bacon in there to prop up the flavour. The cheese is definitely processed cheese. It's not over tasty anyway. It's all right when it's hot, not too hot. But when it's cold, it doesn't really add too much to the flavour, really. It seems to become quite bland when it's cold. So the majority of the flavour is either dried pastry and beans. Not that appetizing, to be fair, in my book. So I'm going to give it a 3 for that. Packaging design. Well, standard pie. Bag. Yes, they've printed their branding on it, but that's about it. It's just a paper bag with some printing on it. They're not going to get very many marks for that. What? 4, 5. We'll give them a 5. What the hell? Recyclable score. Do they tell us it's recyclable? No, they don't. It is recyclable. Oh, there was a burp. It's only paper. So they lose a mark for not telling us it is. So they get 9 for that. So the majority of scores, the majority of the high scores here is down to the structure, the runnability, the recyclable of the bag. Post pie heartburn, I've had 1 burp, so we're down to 9. That might change. Stuffability score. Oh, hang on, there's somebody at the door. Boom, boom, boom. Bear with me. Oh. Oh, honey, thank you very much. You must be watching. Okay. Fresh coffee, can't go wrong. Right. 9:30. We're about an hour in, aren't we? Just over an hour. Okay. So where were we? Stuffability. I need to eat some more pie. Come back. So you can see that you can pretty much see everything there. Like we've got cheese oozing everywhere. You can see that thick pastry, and there's air gaps as well, by the way. Should be filled with bacon. Okay, last bit. Pie server attractiveness, Simon's category. We'll give her a 6. She was all right, I suppose. Mainly because of the morning, how are you? You all good? You want a coffee? Do you want a coffee with that? Always upselling. Smiley, happy. That counts for a lot, doesn't it? I mean, the Wellbeing Cafe environment is, you know, as a petrol station, is pretty good, actually. They work very hard to make it a pleasant space. Okay. Last bit. So, the question is, sorry, speaking of mouthful. The question is, did I enjoy it? Not as much as I was hoping, to be fair. Based on the description of baked beans, bacon, and cheese. At the start, I had high hopes for that pie. A bit wary it was a classic, not the gourmet. And unfortunately, the classic came through as being just a classic pie. They are nowhere near as good as the gourmets. There's a very distinct difference, to be fair. Am I still hungry? I could definitely still have toast. So, yes, I am not completely stuffed. I'm certainly not satisfied. That wasn't a great breakfast. And you've got to start the day on a great breakfast. Very important. Even if it's just porridge. Got to have your porridge, you know. So, I'll give it a 7 for that. Only gets a 7. So it left me wanting a bit more, to be fair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We've got all 13 scores in. Quick slug of our cold coffee. That was cold. And then we'll have one more cigarette and finish the new coffee. Right, we need to do some arithmetic. So bear with me, people. Get rid of the bag. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom! You can tell I'm a bit knackered today because things are going a bit slow. My apologies. Okay, so this, just to put the title on, because I'm still taking photos of what we've been doing so far. So this is a Wild Bean Cafe. And it's a brekkie, a classic brekkie. How do they spell double K? I won't put pie, I'll just put baked beans. Bacon. And cheese. Whew, that only just fit on, didn't it? Right, so we've got straight in there 30, right? Easy one. 30, 39, 43, 46, 51, 60, 69, 76, 82. 82. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's 82. Okay, that's not a very good score, to be fair. Let's go and have a look on the board. I know there's a lot missing now from there, but it'll give us an idea. So 82 was the score, and that was the Wild Bean Cafe, brekkie pie, baked beans, mainly baked beans, a little bit of bacon and some cheese. 82. Right, so it's not going to fit. It's not on that wall, on that row, is it? That's 91 down there. And it's not on that row either. Morning, Lily. So it must be on the back, on the wall of shame, really, isn't it? So 82. There we are, look. Irvin's, the Beast, 82. So it will slot straight in there, look, under the Irvin's one. And that was very dry as well, look, beef, bacon and cheese. Not so good. Okay, so it's a pie. Because it's on the back wall, it's not one to be ever purchased ever again. I'm done. Okay. Right, we'll stick that over here. I will take a photo of that. And then it's embedded forever in my phone. Boom. There we go. And then eventually, when I get the chance, and hopefully it'll be just before Christmas when I'm back up in Auckland for a couple of weeks before we break up, because I'm having to work right up to the Christmas break now, because I used up all my leave. I've found the place where the sign studio in Auckland, where they've moved to. They're the ones that do the magnetic strips for us, so I'll get some more picked up before Christmas. There we go. That one's embedded down in my phone forever. And my phone is almost full, as always. So I'll have another clear out day. Right. Where do we get to? Close that one now. There we go. Right, where do we get to? Oh, wow, you guys have been busy, haven't you? Jeez. Richer Wasp. Not seen Richer Wasp on here before. Roger Heaps. Morning, Andy and crew. Sorry, been busy this morning. It's fine, Roger. We're all busy, matey. There's always stuff to do. Player Salt. That's a new name. Welcome to the workshop, Player Salt. Hiya. Think I probably found you from your Triumph stuff. Thanks for the content. Modified my street cup I got recently, and learning all that was a lot of fun. No problem, matey. Yeah, it is. It's great fun to chop and change your bike and make it suit exactly what you want. Motorcycles are very personal things. JJ, hit the like, thumbs up, like button, viewers. Thanks, JJ. Appreciate that, matey. John Nuttall, hit the like button. It costs you nothing to do that. John is absolutely right, as is JJ. Now is a great time to hit the thumbs up. It doesn't take a second to do. If you're really not enjoying it, hit the thumbs down. YouTube, realistically, just look at your interaction with the video. How many contents happen, how many thumbs up, thumbs down, all that kind of stuff. And if you didn't enjoy it, that's fine. You don't have to pretend. You know, it is what it is. It is just a general chat live stream. It's not, you know, anything too technical. We get the odd question now and again, which the team, everybody, jumps in and helps out with. It's not just me. Jim Haynes, there is a bright side. You get to keep the ponytail for a little longer. There you go. Look. It's still there. It's getting smaller, as in thinner. But hey, yeah, we'll see. It might last a little bit longer yet. Jonathan. Andy, have you seen the bonkers Italiajet Dragster 700? No, I haven't. Let's have a look. Bear with me, people. I'm just going to search for it now. Images. Huh? What the hell's... What? What a weird machine. Scooter. Looks very nose heavy, doesn't it? Very bulky at the front end. Most bizarre. Scooter indeed. What the hell? Let's get a real bike. God damn it. Well, there you go. Not overly impressed though, but I mean Suzuki brought out the Bergman thing that was 500cc. Why didn't those things go well? Thanks, John. Simon, have you tried overnight oats for breakfast? Mix a yogurt with some frozen berries and oats. That sounds nice. Leave it on the bench till morning. It makes a porridge type thing. Okay. Not sure if we can get those here, but I will. Overnight oats for breakfast. Okay. Simon. Subscribe to you if you haven't already. Yes, you should do that. If you've not subscribed to the channel, now's a good time to subscribe to the channel. Hit. Thanks, Sam. Hit the like, I think Sam was trying to say. Roger Heaps, Zoe due between the 5th and the 10th next month. Holy crap. It will be absolute chaos at your household, Roger, when they all pop out. Wade Mayer. Simon Roll, did you manage to accidentally pick up tungsten or boron steel offcuts? I once bought some solid round I was going to bend into hangers for a project, only to discover they gave me tool steel. Holy shit. Simon, Wade Mayer, don't know. The case of the unknown metal. So, gentlemen, and any ladies that are on board, Andy is going to have to sign off soon. We are an hour and 15 in. I had plans just to do an hour, so I'm already running over time. Now's a good time for any last questions. Any comments on the deck? I mean, construction-wise, the framework and stuff. If you've built a deck, does it look about right? Does it look a bit of overkill? Bearing in mind, as you saw it on the camera, in the furthest to the right house end, so the corner of the house, eventually, and it'll be a while yet, we do plan to have a hot tub in that corner. That's why there are a couple more additional support legs in that area. I mean, they're pretty heavy. When they're full of water and they're full of, got me in it. It's pretty damn heavy, right? So it needs to. I didn't want a deck that had any bounce on it. I wanted it to be absolutely solid. And you never know what that deck might be used for in the future. So you've got to future-proof the whole thing. Who knows? It might become a workshop. Highly unlikely, says Mrs. Mechanic. And that's quite correct, because we can't really seal between the house and the deck, because that deck is a completely separate structure. It's not connected to the house in any way, shape or form, which is very, very important when it comes to building regs. If it's connected to the house, then all of a sudden a whole different set of regs apply here in New Zealand. Oh, I almost forgot. I picked up, and Jared's going to go mental now. Sorry, Jared, in advance, but I picked up a Worth inflation gauge, and the only time inflator, it's a digital one, and the only reason why I picked it up is it was on super special discounted price, down from $200 and something to $140, which, if I just put the cigarette down for a second, move the coffee, lose the pen. So, unboxing time, here we go. I couldn't really resist, and the one that I've got I know is not very accurate anymore, PCL one from England. So, I'm not very good at unboxing stuff. Destructions, that's what it looks like. There you go, look. And I suppose we can pull the tab so it starts working. Get rid of the box. And I thought it was about time we got a new one. I wasn't really looking for one. It just sort of, because it was on discount. And I see these in a lot of workshops, to be fair. They're a very popular tyre pressure gauge around New Zealand. So I think you've got to pull. I'll do the tab later on. You've got to pull the whole thing out of the housing and pull the little plastic tab out to connect the battery. But am I just being lazy? I don't know. No, I'll work it out later on. It's definitely a two-handed job. So there you go. One of those, 140 bucks. They are really good. I don't know if Fort's doing equivalent. Jared, I'm sure, will let me know. What's worth doing on the channel, Andy? Apologies. Couldn't really help myself. But yeah, it comes with the airline fitting and high flow airline fitting. Everything's on it. And one of the other benefits as well, another reason for getting it, is it's a very short little brass connector piece here. Whereas the PCL one's got a metal stalk on it, which is very difficult sometimes to get into the rear wheels. Because all the spokes and chain and sprockets and stuff in there. Whereas this should be a lot easier. Plus, with it being nice and new, it'll stay clipped in place while you're inflating. Whereas again, the PCL one, you've got to hold it on all the time. So a little addition to the workshop, a little treat. And that was supplied to me by Bridge Street Automotive in Opatiki. Nice chap, Tim and Carleen. Give them a shout out. Very nice people. Tim runs a workshop there which does ROVs, quad bikes, farm bikes. They service all that side of it. But their main bread and butter is their car workshop. It's a very, very well run and presented workshop. He's got plenty of hoists. He's got a good team down there. And they're actually really good at diagnostics as well. For such a back of beyond place, which it is, it's only a small town. It's a very well equipped workshop with some very highly skilled staff in there as well. And they work on all models of cars. They're not affiliated to any particular brand, and they just get the job done. A very good reputation, and he also sells a lot of fishing tackle stuff as well, because it's quite a popular holiday destination, is Opatiki. It's got a nice coastline, so it's quite touristy down there. Where do we get to? Boom, boom, boom. Oh my word, jeez. Here we go. Roger Heaps, one puppy already spoken, lol. Wow, okay. Lady ran into us at a vet and she was looking for a Ridgeback puppy as they had just lost their old one. Oh, that was great timing then, wasn't it? It's always nice to help people out. John Nuttall, I bet Ratty will love the decking, lol. Probably will. Him and the possums. Although there's no more possums. All seem to have been eradicated. They've packed up their gear and buggered off. I dread to think what damage they've done to that end of the cavity between this roof and the new roof. But time will tell. We'll find out when we go up there one day. Sheldon, the YZ 400 two-stroke has been on the dyno, and it's at 60 horsepower. Jeez, at the wheel, with more aggressively ported cylinders and pipe to come. It's pretty good going, is that, Sheldon? Good job, mate. Simon, off on a pilgrimage the week before the next live, off to the Henry Weston's cider mill. Well, make sure you come back, and I'm sure you'll come back with lots of cider with you as well. Sheldon, deck looks very solid. It is. It really. I don't think I could have made it any more solid, to be fair. Connor K, not a deck building expert. Me neither. I really aren't. But that framing looks solid. Is it supported in the middle or only on the sides? No, it's got lots of supporting legs in the middle, down the middle as well. And around the edges. We've tried to make it Trevor the Tractor proof, because Trevor the Tractor's bound to drive into it one day and clip it with one of his rear tyres, I'm sure. Jim Haynes, looks just like my gauge from Astro Tools. Some people, same people as your Air Hammer. I wonder if it's different branded then, if it's made by a particular, Worth do that, right? A lot of manufacturers do that. or retailers where they'll brand products that are available, same product over a number of different brands, especially in different parts of the world. And it may well be that Forge does exactly the same one, but with the Forge logo on there. I don't know. I'll ask him when I see him next time. And if he does, then maybe we'll end up with two. And maybe Ben will get that one, so I can have Forge in the workshop. don't upset the guy. He's a great chap. So thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. I wasn't aware that it was available under different brands, so that's good to know. Simon, a workshop can have all the tools, but without the right staff. Exactly. A workshop is only as good as the staff that are in it. It doesn't matter what tooling that they've got. And unfortunately, here in New Zealand, getting the right staff now is proving harder year on year to get good turnkey, well-experienced, qualified mechanics. And senior techs are just almost non-existent, especially in the rural areas. Very, very hard to find. Roger, Ridgeback puppies are good at getting rats. You can sell it all you want, Roger. There is no way Mrs. Mechanic would ever have a Ridgeback as a dog. It just wouldn't work. It'd be bigger than she is. Big dogs scare her, to be fair. Although your dogs, actually, she's quite happy with, to be fair. Very well. We've got a very good manner when we turn up. They're always happy to see us. John, try putting an airline on the back wheel of a newer Triumph Bonneville disc and sprocket. It doesn't let you. No, it'll be tight. It'll be really tight. You can get those little swivel head adapters and stuff as well that can help, but it's just a pain in the ass. Simon, I know the triangle bit was not planned on the deck, but it looks like it will work as an expansion gap too. Maybe it will. I must admit, I really didn't help myself when I set those first 3 posts years ago. 4 years ago, we set those posts. The 3 posts that are furthest away from the house. For whatever reason, I don't know why, I can't remember why, there must have been a reason for it. I set them and they were deliberately not parallel to the house. And that caused so many problems with doing the roof. There was multiple angles going all over the place, and it caused even more problems, as you saw, with actually doing the deck. The method that I used to make up the main frame first and then work peripherally to that turned out brilliantly. It minimized the number of angles. It also helped us to get the bulk of the deck down pretty quick and to visualize what else needed to be done. So yeah, if I was to build another one, always get your posts running parallel to each other. Always work in squares with 90-degree angles, Mr. Young. I set myself quite a challenge, to be honest. Quite a challenge. But the overall deck was always going to be, tapered on either side, because we need access down the side of the house, and we need access from the front of this workshop through the side port to the back garden as well. So that hence why it's that weird shape. So yeah, I set myself up, because otherwise, if we'd just done it as a square, we'd have ended up with exposed corner bits, triangular bits that would have had to be concreted, and that have been just filled up with crap. I know what it's like living here. Any available space gets used. So, but with it being consumed by the deck and covered by the deck, and we've got a rule, nothing goes on the deck, Andrew, then it keeps that area nice and clean, and it's going to be a wonderful area for us. It's going to be really nice and big, really big, plenty of room for, I say, a hot tub and a table and some chairs and whatever else we decide to put on there. It's going to be really good. It's going to be nice and cool in the summertime, but it's quite dark under there, so we do intend to swap out some of the roofing panels for those clear ones to get a little bit of natural light under there as well. That'll help to keep the place dry, a little bit warmer in the wintertime, and more of a usable space. I don't want to put any sort of bright lights under there. We might have some sort of mood lighting type stuff for on an evening, for in the summertime, but you know, benefiting from the natural light will be great, because the electric bills here are big enough as it is, to be honest. Jim Haynes, Rhodesian Ridgeback, they are the ones. Monster doggies. Big, solid heads, they really have. Yes, but quite friendly, which is nice. Quite friendly. Okay, crew, that is the end of this live stream. Thank you very much for joining. It's been great to catch up. Sorry I've not had too much to tell you on this particular live stream. I've just been doing deck, and I'm still doing deck for the next 3 days, and then next weekend, and probably the weekend after. So it's a bit of a long haul, but we will get there, and then I can get back in the workshop, and we can get back to doing some videos again. And I'll definitely get that video edited up. Maybe not before I go to the South Island, but once I'm in the South Island on an evening, obviously I've got captive time, I can get it finished off. Because it's quite a different kind of video. It'd be interesting to see what you think to it. I'm not really sure that I'll be doing another one like it. It's taken a long time to put together. But it was fun. You know, I've enjoyed doing it, and you can give me a bit of feedback and see what you think. Okay, crew, thank you for your time again, and for all your support. Do really appreciate it, and wishing you a good day or a good evening wherever you are in the world. I'll see you next time. Cheers. Over and out. Oh, press the cross. There we go. Boom. Yes.